All right, let's dive into this dream of yours. Owning a beach house in Thailand. You've given us a ton to work with here. Real estate listings, articles about the market, even some, looks like, personal notes and ideas you've jotted down. So some serious beach house goals are in the works. And we're going to figure out if Thailand's the right spot to make them happen.
It's really interesting to me. You're not just looking at, a property. This is a potential life change we're talking about.
Mm,
So our mission today
yeah.
is to help you sort through all this info
Mm.
and figure out where in Thailand you might want to focus. If, of course, it turns out to be the right move at all.
Exactly. And you wouldn't believe some of the stuff I found getting ready for this deep dive. For example, I was really surprised how much more affordable Thailand seems compared to like Hawaii or the Maldives. And don't even get me started on the variety of homes. Traditional Thai stilt houses, modern villas with infinity pools.
I think sometimes people, they get so caught up in just the beach house idea that they forget about everything else Thailand has to offer.
Okay, so what stands out to you then? Beyond just the, picture perfect beaches.
Well, for one, imagine never having to shovel snow again. Thailand's got this amazing tropical climate, warm all year round, averaging around 30 degrees Celsius. And then there's the culture. Imagine waking up to the sound of monks chanting. Thousands of Buddhist temples, vibrant festivals. The food is incredible. It's a sensory overload, but in a good way.
You've definitely got me picturing it. Okay, let's talk about these beach houses. We've got a real mix of styles here, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've got these traditional Thai stilt houses. They're so unique. Built elevated, partly for those cool breezes, partly for protection from flooding. And the materials, bamboo, teak, it's all eco-friendly. A really authentic experience. You can just imagine the stories those houses could tell.
Okay, I'm picturing myself on a veranda, sipping tea in the ocean breeze. But then we've got those modern villas, too. Talk about luxury.
Oh, they're spectacular. Sleek designs. A lot of them have infinity pools. They kind of blend right into the ocean. High-end amenities. Just pure luxury.
I actually noticed in your research here, you'd saved a listing for a villa like that. In Bangpur, Koh Samui.
Yeah. It looks incredible. It seems like these days, eco-friendly homes are getting more and more popular. Is that something we're seeing in Thailand, too?
Definitely. It seems sustainability is finding its way to paradise. These homes use things like renewable energy sources, water-saving fixtures, sustainable building materials. Proof that you can have luxury and still be kind to the planet.
I love that. So we've got this image of Thailand. We've got these different types of homes. Now let's get specific. What are some of the most popular locations that came up in your research?
Well, Phuket's always a big one. It's got this perfect mix of like luxury and nature,
Hmm.
high-end properties, amazing beaches, Batong, Kata, bustling markets, vibrant nightlife.
Phuket sounds amazing, but I'm also kind of drawn to, I don't know, a more laid-back island experience. Is there anywhere that might be a better fit for that? Koh Samui might be just what you're looking for. Think palm-fringed beaches, crystal clear waters, much more tranquil than Phuket. Big focus on local culture and wellness retreats. It's all about relaxation and rejuvenation.
Okay, Koh Samui is going on the list. But what about someone who wants a little more action, a bit more energy, a bit more excitement? I feel like Pattaya might be the spot for that.
You read my mind. Pattaya is known for its lively nightlife, tons of entertainment options, even some family-friendly attractions too. Plus, it's just a quick hop from Bangkok, if you want a little taste of the big city.
So many great options. But before we get carried away with our daydreams, we've got to talk about the market. What's the real estate scene like in Thailand right now?
Well, from what I'm seeing in your sources, the market in Thailand is booming. It's actually projected to reach 71.70 billion US dollars by 2029. And guess what's driving that growth? The increasing demand for beachfront properties, especially in those hotspots we were just talking about.
That's wild. Whenever I think about owning a place abroad, I always wonder about the legal side of things. What do people need to know about buying property in Thailand, especially if they're not a citizen?
That's a great question and a really important one. Land ownership is a key thing to consider. You can't directly own land as a foreigner, but there are options like leasehold agreements. They give you a really secure path to owning a property. Think of it like a long-term rental agreement, but with clear terms and legal protections.
So it's doable, but you need to know how it works. What are some other legal things to keep in mind?
So foreigners can own buildings in Thailand, but not the land directly. So there are a few ways people go about it. You can enter into a leasehold agreement. You could set up a Thai company to actually own the land, or you could invest in a condominium where foreigners can directly own units. It's definitely best to work with a legal expert, though, someone who specializes in Thai real estate law. just to make sure you're protected.
That makes sense. All right, let's say we found the perfect property. We got the legal stuff all figured out. What about financing? Can people get a mortgage in Thailand, even if they're not a citizen?
It is possible. Thai banks do offer mortgages to foreigners, but the terms can be a little different.
Like what?
Well, interest rates can vary, so it's a good idea to shop around, compare different banks. Some might require you to have a work permit or proof of income in Thailand. Honestly, finding a good local bank can make a world of difference. They'll understand the specifics of financing for foreigners.
That's really helpful. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's say we've got the keys. How do we make this beach house feel like a home? Any decorating tips?
Well, this is where you can really bring in your personality, but also embrace the beauty of Thai design. Incorporating traditional elements is a great way to start. Teak furniture, for example. Elegant and perfect for that humid climate.
I love that, bringing in those traditional elements. What else?
Well, you could add in some luxurious touches. Silk or cotton fabrics. Think about those light, breathable materials, perfect for the tropical weather. And of course, you can't forget Buddha statues and Thai art to really bring in a sense of place.
That's such a good idea, blending traditional elements with modern comfort.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to add in things like plush sofas, comfortable outdoor furniture so you can enjoy those views, and smart storage solutions to keep things organized.
So we're creating a real oasis here. What about the overall vibe, though? What kind of atmosphere do we want to create?
I'd say light and airy colors are your best friend. Whites, blues, greens, they really make the space feel open and tranquil. Adding plants is always a good idea, brings in that touch of nature, helps with air quality too. And never underestimate the power of soft lighting. Lamps, candles, they just create this warm and inviting feeling.
It sounds magical, but I'm also thinking about the, investment side of things. We tend to think of a beach house as a personal escape, but
Yeah.
can it also be a smart financial move?
Absolutely. Thailand's tourism industry is booming, which means there's high demand for vacation rentals, especially during peak season.
So renting it out is definitely something to consider.
It is. The income potential can be really impressive, depending on the location and the type of property you have. Those high-end condos in places like Pattaya can generate some serious monthly income, and even properties in less sought-after areas can bring in a nice, steady stream of revenue.
Wow, that's exciting. But managing a property from afar, it can feel a little overwhelming, to be honest. Any tips on making that process smoother?
A lot of people these days are turning to property management companies, local companies that can handle everything for you, from listing the property on rental platforms to communicating with guests, handling check-ins, check-outs, cleaning, maintenance, even dealing with any emergencies. It can really take the weight off your shoulders.
That makes a lot of sense, especially if you're not living there full time. So if we're looking at this as a long-term investment, how can we make sure our beach house keeps its value?
Smart upgrades and renovations are key. Keeping the property up to date with fresh decor, modern appliances, all those nice amenities. That'll make it attractive to renters and potential buyers down the line. It's also important to pay attention to the landscaping. A nice garden, a well-maintained outdoor area can really boost the curb appeal and add value.
So it's about the whole experience, not just the building itself.
Exactly. And we shouldn't forget about those eco-friendly upgrades we talked about. Those can add real value too.
Right. Energy efficiency is more important than ever these days. So things like solar panels or water-saving fixtures, not just good for the environment, but could make the property more attractive later on.
Absolutely. It's a win-win. Good for the planet and potentially good for your wallet.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Different types of beach houses in Thailand, popular locations. We talked about the market, legal and financial stuff. But it's important to remember that owning property, especially in a tropical climate, it comes with its own set of challenges.
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in the dream, but it's important to be realistic, especially when it comes to things like the weather and the need for regular maintenance.
That's a great point, and I think it's time we dig into those a little deeper. So we'll be back with part 2 of this deep dive to take a closer look at those realities. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into owning a beach house in Thailand.
Before the break, we were talking about the challenges of owning a property in a tropical climate. It's easy to get caught up in the dream, but it's good to have a realistic picture of what it takes to maintain a place in Thailand.
Oh, for sure. And one of the biggest things is the weather. Thailand's got that beautiful tropical climate, but it can be unpredictable too. especially when it comes to things like sudden storms or even the occasional typhoon.
Yeah, that's true. What kind of weather risks should we be thinking about?
Well, you've got those sudden downpours,
Yeah.
especially during monsoon season. And even though Thailand doesn't get hurricanes, it can be affected by typhoons, which bring really strong winds and heavy rain.
So, what can homeowners do to protect their property? I mean, from those kinds of extreme weather events.
Well, a few things. Investing in storm shutters for your windows and doors. That's a must. They'll give you that extra protection during high winds and rain. Another thing to think about is whether the property's elevated. Properties that are built higher up are less likely to flood, so that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at locations.
So, location plays a big part in dealing with those weather risks. What about the day-to-day impact of the climate on the property itself? I mean, the heat and humidity, that's got to take a toll.
Oh, definitely. That's a huge factor. You've got that high humidity and the salty air,
Hmm.
especially near the coast. That can lead to problems like mold growth, rust, corrosion, if you're not careful about maintenance.
So, preventative maintenance is key. What would you recommend to keep a beach house in good shape? That kind of environment.
Regular inspections are crucial. You want to check for any wear and tear, especially in areas exposed to the elements, the roof, the walls, the windows. Those areas take a beating. And using durable, weather-resistant materials from the start, whether you're building new or renovating. Treated wood, stainless steel fixtures, high-quality paint, those make a huge difference in how the property holds up.
So, choosing the right materials from the get-go can save you headaches later on. Any other maintenance things specific to beach houses in Thailand?
Pest control is another big one. That warm, humid climate, it can attract all kinds of insects, and you don't want them in your beach house. Regular pest control treatments will keep those critters away and prevent any damage to the property.
Good point. It's easy to forget those things when you're focused on the beautiful beaches. Okay, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about the financial side. We talked about how affordable Thailand is, but it's still a big investment. What are some of the costs that people should be ready for?
Well, obviously, the purchase price is a big one. But then you have those ongoing expenses, property taxes, utilities, maintenance, insurance.
Insurance, yeah. Especially with the weather risks we've been talking about, what kind of insurance should homeowners have?
Comprehensive coverage is really important. That should cover things like storm damage, floods, fire, any of those unforeseen events. It's worth shopping around, comparing policies. Make sure you're getting the right coverage at a good price.
So it's not just the upfront cost, but those long-term expenses. We talked earlier about renting out your beach house, which sounds amazing, by the way, but managing a property from afar, I imagine that can be tough. Any advice on how to make that process smoother?
You know, a lot of people these days are using local property management companies. They can take care of everything for you, listing the property, communicating with guests, handling check-ins, check-outs, cleaning, maintenance, even dealing with emergencies. It can really take a load off your mind.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're not living there full time. What if you're thinking about this as a long-term investment? How can you make sure the property keeps its value?
Smart upgrades and renovations are a good way to go. Keep the property up to date. Fresh decor, modern appliances, all those nice amenities. That'll make it appealing to renters and buyers. Also, pay attention to the landscaping. A well-maintained garden or outdoor area can really boost the curb appeal and add value to the property.
So it's about the whole experience, not just having a functional space. What about those eco-friendly upgrades we talked about? Do those have an impact on property value?
They absolutely do. Energy efficiency is a big selling point these days. Things like solar panels, water-saving fixtures, those sustainable features can lower your operating costs and make your property stand out to buyers, especially those who are environmentally conscious.
So good for the planet and good for your wallet. It seems like those eco-friendly choices are a win-win. Okay, we've talked about the practical stuff, but I feel like we haven't even touched on what Thailand has to offer outside the beach house.
Right, that's the best part. Thailand is a country with so much to offer. Culture, history, natural beauty. It's not just about lounging on the beach, although that is pretty great.
So what kind of adventures should we be thinking about?
Well, Thailand is a paradise for island hopping. Imagine exploring hidden coves, snorkeling in crystal clear water, or just soaking up the sun on those perfect beaches.
That's amazing. Are there any islands you'd recommend?
Oh, there are so many. The Phi Islands are a must-see, famous for those dramatic limestone cliffs
Yeah.
rising out of the turquoise water. Maya Bay, you might recognize it from the movie The Beach. It's absolutely breathtaking if you're looking for a more relaxed vibe. Koh Lanta has beautiful beaches and a really laid-back atmosphere. And for serious divers, Koh Tao is incredible. The coral reefs and marine life there are world-renowned.
Wow, each island sounds so unique. Beyond the beaches, what about cultural stuff? Are there any historical sites or landmarks worth seeing?
Absolutely. Thailand has an incredibly rich history and strong spiritual tradition. You can't miss the Grand Palace in Bangkok. It's an amazing complex of buildings and temples. Used to be the official residence of the kings of Siam. The ancient city of Ayutthaya is another must-see. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Offers a fascinating glimpse into Thailand's past. And for a truly spiritual experience, you should visit Wat Phra, that Doi Suthep in Chiang Mai. It's a mountaintop temple with breathtaking views, a chance to really connect with Thailand's Buddhist heritage.
I feel calmer just thinking about it. But for people who want something more adventurous, what kinds of activities does Thailand offer?
Oh, Thailand has something for everyone. If you're an adrenaline junkie, there's whitewater rafting, ziplining through the jungle, rock climbing in Railay Beach. There are ethical elephant sanctuaries where you can interact with those gentle giants. And for a truly unique experience, go on a jungle trek, discover hidden waterfalls and caves.
Wow, sounds like there's no shortage of things to do. Beaches, culture, adventure. Is there anything else Thailand's got up its sleeve?
Of course. How could we forget the food? Thai cuisine is famous around the world for its bold flavors, fresh ingredients, aromatic spices. From street food to fine dining, you'll be spoiled for choice. And if you're looking for relaxation and rejuvenation, Thailand has some of the best spas and wellness retreats in the world.
It really does seem like Thailand has it all. But before we finish this part of our deep dive, I think it's worth mentioning that even paradise has its realities. We touched on weather and maintenance, but what else should potential beach house owners be aware of?
You're right. It's important to be realistic. One thing is the language barrier. English is widely spoken in tourist areas, but learning some basic Thai phrases can make a big difference, especially when interacting with locals or in everyday situations.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's always good to make an effort to communicate in the local language, even if it's just a few words. What about cultural differences? Any customs or etiquette we should know about?
Well, Thailand is known as the land of smiles for a reason. Thai people are incredibly warm and welcoming, but like any culture, there are customs to be aware of. It's considered disrespectful to point your feet at someone or to touch someone's head. When entering a temple, take off your shoes and dress modestly. And remember, the King of Thailand is highly revered, so it's important to avoid any negative comments about the monarchy.
Those are good insights. It's
Yeah.
all about being respectful and mindful of local customs. What about health and safety? Any concerns we should be aware of when traveling to or living in Thailand?
Generally, Thailand is a very safe country for tourists, but it's always wise to take precautions. Drink bottled water. Be cautious about food from street vendors. Keep your valuables safe. It's also good to be aware of scams and petty crime, especially in tourist areas. And travel insurance that covers medical expenses is absolutely essential, just in case anything unexpected happens.
All great points to keep in mind. So even with all that, the allure of Thailand is still strong. But before we wrap up this part, I'm curious, what makes Thailand so special for owning a beach house?
For me, it's the combination of everything. Exotic beauty, rich culture, warm hospitality. The landscapes are just breathtaking. From the beaches to the lush jungles, the vibrant culture, the temples, the festivals, the food. It's all about exploration and discovery. And the Thai people, with their smiles and kindness, they make you feel at home. It's a place where you can escape and embrace a life of adventure, relaxation, and cultural immersion.
That's beautifully put. It sounds like a truly unique and enriching experience. Okay, we've covered so much, the practical stuff, cultural insights, exciting adventures, but one crucial question remains. How do you choose the right beach house for you? Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll help you narrow down your search and find that perfect Thai beach house haven. Welcome back to our deep dive. It's the final part. And the big question is, how do you choose the right beach house in Thailand for you?
Yeah, this is where it gets exciting and personal. There's no one right answer, but we can break it down into a few steps to help you navigate the decision.
Okay, love that. A step-by-step approach. So where do we start?
Before you even look at listings, get clear on your priorities. What are your must-haves? And what are just nice-to-haves for both the property itself and the location?
Okay, so what kind of questions should we be asking?
Start with the basics. Budget. How much can you realistically spend? Not just the purchase price, but those ongoing costs we talked about. Then think about size and type of property. Cozy retreat for yourself, spacious villa for family and friends, or something you want to rent out.
Right, the purpose of the property, that makes a big difference. So once we've got a handle on the house itself, we zoom out and look at location.
Exactly. This is where your lifestyle comes in. Do you see yourself in a bustling hub like Phuket, with the nightlife, the amenities, or does the tranquility of Koh Samui sound better? All about wellness and local culture. Or maybe the energy of Pattaya, with the entertainment and being close to Bangkok.
It really is like choosing your own adventure, and I imagine even within each location, there are even more decisions.
Oh, absolutely. How close to the beach do you want to be? Right on the sand? Or a short walk away? What about the surroundings? Seclusion and privacy? Or close to restaurants, shops, activities?
It can feel overwhelming. So many things to consider.
A checklist can be a lifesaver. Write down your must-haves, nice-to-haves, deal breakers for the property and the location. Then, as you research, rate each option against your list. It helps you stay objective, not just get swept away by those gorgeous photos.
I like that, a way to stay grounded. Okay, let's say we've narrowed down our search using those criteria. What's next?
Time to dig into the specifics. And this is where a good real estate agent can be so valuable.
What role does the agent play?
A good agent is your guide. They know the local market, they know the legal stuff, they know how to negotiate. They can help you find properties that really fit, arrange viewings, help with the due diligence to make sure everything's in order.
So it's not just finding a house. It's about making a smart investment and a smooth transaction. What questions should we ask potential agents to make sure they're the right fit?
Check their credentials, their experience. Are they licensed? Reputable? Do they specialize in the type of property and location you want? Ask for references from previous clients. Get a feel for their service.
It's like interviewing them.
Exactly. And pay attention to communication. Do they listen to your needs? Understand your priorities. Are they responsive? A good agent will be proactive, keep you informed, advocate for you.
Finding the right agent sounds almost as important as finding the right house. All right, so we've found a property. We have a great agent. What are some final things to consider?
Due diligence is essential. Looking beyond the surface, making sure everything is legally sound and in good condition.
What does that involve?
Things like a thorough property inspection to check for any issues or repairs, verifying ownership documents, titles, making sure there are no outstanding debts on the property, and really understanding that leasehold agreement, if that's the route you're going.
So it's about protecting yourself. No surprises down the line. Any other words of wisdom? Before we become official beach house owners in Thailand.
Remember, it's a journey. Take your time, do your research, ask questions, trust your gut. Owning a beach house in Thailand is a dream, but approach it with excitement and a healthy dose of practicality.
Great advice. We've covered so much in this deep dive. The allure of Thailand, the different types of properties, the market, financing, legal stuff, challenges, adventures. What's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with?
I'd say this: Thailand is an incredible country with so much to offer. It's a place of extraordinary beauty, rich culture, genuine warmth. Owning a beach house here is more than an investment. It's a chance to embrace a new way of life, create memories, experience the magic of Thailand. So trust the process, follow your heart, and maybe, just maybe, you'll soon be sipping cocktails on the veranda of your own Thai beach house.
I love that. The perfect way to wrap up. Practical advice, inspiration, and a little bit of Thai magic. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep dreaming big and explore the possibilities.